Reality Maintainer presents How to Change Your Reality. Familiar memories remind us to reproduce the same experiences. When you see the same people every day, do the same things, go to the same places, and look at the same objects, the familiar memories of your known world remind you to reproduce the same experiences. We could say that the environment is actually controlling your mind, since the neuroscientific definition of the mind is the brain in action. You repeatedly reproduce the same level of mind by reminding yourself who you think you are in reference to the outer world. Your identity becomes defined by everything outside of you, identifying with all the elements that make up your external world. You're observing your reality with a mind that is equal to it. So you collapse the infinite wave of probabilities of the quantum field into events that reflect the mind you see to experience your life. You create more of the same. You may not think that your environment and your thoughts are that rigidly similar, and your reality is so easily produced. But when you consider that your brain is a complete record of your past, and your mind is the product of your consciousness, in one sense you might always be thinking in the past. By responding with the same brain hardware that matches what you remember, you're creating a level of mind that's identical to the past, because your brain is automatically firing existing circuits to reflect everything you already know, have experienced, and can predict. According to quantum law, which, by the way, is still working for you, your past is now becoming your future. The reason is, when you think from your past memories, you can only create past experiences, as all the knowns in your life cause your brain to think and feel in familiar ways, thus creating knowledgeable outcomes. You continually reaffirm your life as you know it. And since your brain is equal to your environment, each morning your senses plug you into the same reality and start the same stream of consciousness. All of the sensory input that your brain processes from the external world, that is seeing, smelling, hearing, feeling, and tasting, turns your brain on to think equal to everything familiar in your reality. You open your eyes and you know the person lying next to you is your spouse because of the past experiences you have together. You hear barking and you know it's your dog wanting to go out. There's a pain in your back and you remember it's the same pain you felt yesterday. You associate your outer, familiar world with who you think you are by remembering yourself in this dimension, this particular time and space. Our morning routine, plugging into our past self. What do most of us do each morning after we have been plugged into our reality by these sensory reminders of who we are, where we are, and so forth? We remain plugged into this past self by following a highly routine, unconscious set of automatic behaviors. For an example, you probably wake up on the same side of the bed, slip into your robe the same way as always, look into the mirror to remember who you are, and shower, following an automatic routine. Then you groom yourself to look like everyone expects you to look, and brush your teeth in an unusual, memorized fashion. You drink coffee out of your favorite mug, and eat your customary breakfast. You put on your jacket you always wear, and unconsciously zip it up. Next, you automatically drive to work a convenient route that you're accustomed to. At work, you do the familiar things that you have memorized how to do so well. You see the same people who push your emotional buttons, which causes you to think the same thoughts about those people and your work and your life. Later, you hurry up and go home, so you can hurry up and eat, so you can hurry up and watch your favorite TV show, so you can hurry up and go to bed, so you can hurry up and do it all over again. Has your brain changed at all that day? The definition of insanity is repeating the same process over and over again and expecting different results. Why are you secretly expecting something different to show up in your life when you think the same thoughts, perform the same actions, and experience the same emotions every single day? Isn't that the definition of insanity? All of us have fallen prey to this type of limited life, one time or another. By now, you understand the reason why. As an example, it's safe to say that you're reproducing the same level of reality every day. And if the quantum world shows that the environment is an extension of your mind, and that the mind and matter are one, then as long as your mind remains the same, your reality will stay the same. So, if your environment remains the same and you react by thinking the same way, then according to the quantum model of reality, shouldn't you create more of the same? Think of it this way. Input remains the same, so output has to remain the same. How then can you ever create anything new? Are you programmed to hard times? There's another possible consequence that I should mention. If you keep firing the same neural patterns by living your life the same way each day, every time you respond to your familiar reality by recreating the same mind, that is, turning on the same nerve cells to make the brain work in the same way, you program your brain to match the customary conditions in your personal reality, either good or bad. There's a principle in neuroscience called Hebb's Law. It basically states that nerve cells that fire together, wire together. Hebb's credo demonstrates that if you repeatedly activate the same nerve cells, then each time they turn on, it'll be easier for them to fire in unison again. Eventually, those neurons will develop a long-term relationship. So when I use the term program, it means that cluster of neurons have fired so many times in the same way that they've organized themselves in specific patterns with long-lasting connections. The more these networks of neurons fire, the more they wire into static routes of activity. In time, whatever the repeated thought, behavior, or feeling is, it'll become automatic, unconscious habit. When your environment is influencing your mind to that extent, your habitat becomes your habit. So if you're thinking the same thoughts, doing the same things, and feeling the same emotions, you'll begin to hardwire your brain into a finite pattern. That is the direction, reflection of your finite reality. Consequently, it will become easier and more natural for you to reproduce the same mind on a moment-to-moment basis. This innocent response cycle causes your brain and then your mind to reinforce even further the particular reality that is your external world. The more you fire the same circuits by reacting to your external life, the more you'll wire your brain to your personal world. You'll become neurochemically attached to the conditions in your life. In time, you'll begin to think in a box because your brain will fire a finite set of circuits that then creates a very specific mental signature. This signature is called your personality. How you form the habit of being yourself. As an effect on your neural habitation, the two realities of the inner mind and the outer world seems to become almost inseparable. For instance, if you can never stop thinking about your problem, then your mind and your life will merge together as one. The objective world is now colored by the perceptions of your subjective mind, and thus reality continuously conforms. You become lost in the illusion of the dream. You could call this a rut, and we all fall into them, but it goes much deeper than that. Not just your actions, but also your attitudes and your feelings become repetitive. You have formed the habit of being yourself by becoming, in a sense, enslaved to your environment. Your thinking has become equal to the conditions in your life. And thus you, as a quantum observer, are creating a mind that only reaffirms the circumstances into your specific reality. All you're doing is reacting to your external, known, and unchanging world. In a very real way, you have become effect of circumstances outside yourself. You have allowed yourself to give up control of your destiny. Unlike Bill Murray's character in the movie Groundhog Day, you're not even fighting against the ceaseless monotony of what you're like and what your life has become. Worse, you aren't even the victim of some mysterious unseen force that has placed you in this repetitive loop. You are the creator of this loop. But the good news is that since you created this loop, you can choose to end it. The quantum model of reality tells us that to change our lives, we must fundamentally change the way we think, act, and feel. We must change our state of being. Because how we think, feel, and behave, in essence, our personality. It's our personality that creates our personal reality. So to create a new personal reality, a new life, we must create a new personality. We must become someone else. To change, then, is to think and act greater than our present circumstances, greater than our environment. Greatness is holding fast to a dream, independent of the environment. Before I began to explore the ways in which you can think greater than your environment and to thus break the habit of being yourself, I want to remind you of something. It is possible to think greater than your present reality. And history books are filled with people who have done so. Every one of these individuals had a concept in his or her mind of a future reality that existed as a potential in the quantum field. This vision was alive in their inner world of possibilities beyond the senses, and in time, each people made those ideas of reality. As a common thread, they all had a dream, vision, or an objective that was much larger than they were. They all believed in a future destiny that was so real in their mind that they began to live as if their dream was already happening. They couldn't see, hear, taste, smell, or feel it, but they were so possessed by their dream that they acted in a way that corresponded to the potential reality ahead of time. In other words, they behaved as if what they envisioned was already a reality. When our behaviors match our intentions, when our actions are equal to our thoughts, when our minds and our bodies are working together, when our words and our deeds are aligned, there is a power behind any individual. Then, do what you need to do to make things better. Once you get over your fear of change, you just might find that there's something great waiting for you on the other side. What do you think? Are you ready to change your life? What's been holding you back? Share your thoughts and comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends so we can keep making them. For more videos like this, hit the subscribe button and remember to click on that notification bell. Also, be sure to check out our other videos as well. Thanks for watching.